What's up, YouTube? Time to get a little dirty and save some money. Today we're doing the front struts, 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It should be the same as 2011 all the way to 2021. But yeah, this is for my 2015 steps and the stuff we'll need. Most people were saying it was a 23. For me, it was a 24. So most people take off the brake caliper and the axle nut to remove the axle. I'm not going to do it that way. I see why they do it that way because there's a lot more clearance, but I don't have a 32 millimeters, so I do it without it. Right, let's get to it. I already took off the tire, jacked it up, put a jack stand on there, tire underneath the cards, extra safety. Those lug nuts were a 22 millimeter. This, what is it, ABS sensor cord, wire. I just removed it from here, pretty much unroute this thing. Oh, let's do it a little bit more slack. Got there, and yeah, that should be enough. The brake hose. So throughout the whole process, we're gonna wanna make sure that there's not a lot of tension on there because we don't wanna bust that line. Remove this nut. This is 21 millimeter. It connects to the tie rod. We're gonna hit this with a hammer, break it loose. Grab the hammer. Alright, so once that's loose, push this off to the side. Next thing we got is the upper strut mounts. Got 3 of those right there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. They're 13 millimeters. You could take 2 of them off, and then 1 of them you just loosen, but you want to keep that in there so it doesn't fall down. Come back down here. We got the upper ball joint. Gonna remove this most of the way, and gonna leave the nut barely hanging on. So then we're gonna strike this with the hammer. It'll drop down, but it won't come back and hit you. There. So last time I kept tie rod in, I had it all the way pretty much loose, just in there, just for stability. Alright, time to hit this thing with the hammer. There we go. And it popped loose. Alright, so with this popped loose, we got the sway bar end link. Take off one of the sides. You're gonna need an 18 millimeter and then an 8 millimeter for this end piece. Tools I have is a through socket wrench, 18 millimeter. So it's pretty much the 8mm right here. It's gonna go through here, so you're able to hold the 8mm in place while you're wrenching the 18. Alright, so we took the sway bar link nut off, but before we take it all the way out, I'm gonna take off the lower strut bolt. On one side it's a 21, and on the other side it's a 24, at least for me. Some people say it's a 23 for them. Alright, so I ran out of daylight, so continuing this the next day. So we took off the nut for the end link, took off the nut for the lower strut bolt, and then we loosened this. We're gonna take this all the way off, so what we want to do is get a securing strap so it doesn't, when it comes all the way off, it doesn't want to pop out and hit us in the face. Then I have a jack underneath the router, or the rotor, so it doesn't fall completely. Right, so we're good right there. Now it's time to bang out the lower strut bolts. All right, with that lower strut bolt out, then we can pull out the sway bar end link. Alright, sway bar end link is out, so I'm going to lower that jack. Do this very slowly. Pay close attention to the brake hose and the ABS wire, just to make sure nothing's too tight. And then we get to come back up here and take off all 3 of those bolts. It's a good idea to have, while you're loosening these bolts, before they completely come off, you want to grab from underneath, just so that it doesn't drop on your axle and other components. That's where a second hand comes in handy, but I don't have one today. Alright, so the upper strap mount's removed. It's loose in here. This is where my video differs from most of, all the other ones. We're gonna have to press down on here, put a lot of weight on it. I know it's extra stress for the axle, but I figure that when it's on the road, it has a lot more stress than what I'm gonna put on it right now. So with all the other videos, they do remove, or at least remove one side of the axle, It does give it more clearance to do it that way. I see why they do it that way, but I don't have a 32 millimeter, and yeah, so we gotta do it my way. We're pressing on here. We wanna be checking the brake lines and the ABS sensor all the time, just to make sure that it's not too tight. All right, let's get at it. Alright, so with the old strut removed, time to put in the new one. It's pretty much the same as the removal, just opposite. And here we go. Alright, there we go. It does take a little bit of work, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Alright, time to start putting things back together. First thing we're gonna do is put the lower control arm, or lower strut bolt through. Hammer. Put it through just to line it up. Alright, got the lower strut bolt in. Now we're gonna put in the sway bar. It's easier if you jack it up, line it up properly. Makes it a little bit easier. It just slides right in. And put the bolt on, don't tighten it all the way. All right, next we want to line up the upper ball joint. So after we get the sway bar on, then we want to do the upper ball joint. It's easier if you jack it up, line it up, thread a couple on, and then you want to go up there and tighten down those upper strut mounts with the 13. And then after that, you're gonna want to do the tie rod in. But don't be like me. I got a little frustrated, and when I separated them, I was an idiot and used the hammer on the top of this, so it mushroomed. So now I got to go to the store, get either a file or a thread chaser, because this nut doesn't want to go on anymore. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so we finally fixed the mushroom bolt on that tie rod. I tried using a file. It did pretty good, but then wasn't good enough. So O'Reilly's, they had this part, or this tool. It pretty much puts a chamfer on it, and I just needed to go a little bit deep because it was only like the first 1 or 2 threads that were damaged. So did that for a little bit, and then I was able to get that bolt on. All right, so from there we just want to tighten up a couple of these bolts that we've taken off, and then the 3 up top, of course. We're gonna put the tire on, and then with the tire on, with all its weight on the tire, or on the floor, under load, whatever you want to call it, that's when we do all our torquing. Actually, before you put the tire on, you need to torque down this one, because if you have the tire on, there's no way you're fitting a socket and torque wrench in there. So do that before you put on the tire. Once you put on the tire, then you're able to torque down everything else. Yeah, if this helps, like, subscribe, really helps out the channel. I'll keep making videos, help you guys save some money while I'm saving money. These torque specs, I mean, definitely look them up, because they might be a little bit different for your vehicle, but they're supposed to be the same for 2011 to 2021. So yeah, all these torques, and then you're done. Congratulations. As a thank you for watching this entire video, I want to put together a little savings chart. For this job alone, you're saving between $850 and $900, depending on what parts you use. These are the 6 jobs that the shop quoted me on, and they wanted like $4,400. They wanted $4,400 for parts, labor, all that. Doing it myself, I bought parts totaling up to $1,400. Puts me at a savings of $3,000. Hope this saves you guys some money too.